I'm James Cridland, the radio futurologist. The Internet. It's a fantastically useful service. It's a way of getting great audio contributions from across the world, a tool for research, a method for getting your signal to new people, and a big, gaping security headache for you, particularly in times of unrest or instability. 4 large radio stations in Australia were hacked and turned into porn sites this week, including the #1 radio station in Sydney. The stations used WordPress, which is free software used on many websites across the world, and, as you might expect from a website that's used in lots of places, there are security vulnerabilities with it, so it pays to keep it updated. And as far as I can see, the station, or rather the professional WordPress host they use, failed to keep their version of WordPress totally up to date. But there again, no software is 100% secure. Twitter accounts at the New York Times and the BBC were both hacked last week and promptly started spreading false stories, one saying that the President of the United States had been shot. Now, there weren't very high-profile accounts, BBC Radio Nottingham anyone, but even so, the attacks are embarrassing to media owners. Twitter does have pretty good security for important accounts, but you do have to turn it on, and most people don't. And then there are a number of radio stations in the US who mysteriously started broadcasting this.
Fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, nigga, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah.
That's the fantastic sounds of YG and Nipsey Hussey in a song called Fuck Donald Trump, which aired on a number of radio stations in the US recently. So how did this happen? Well, radio stations didn't bother setting a password on their Barracks X streamer, according to reports, and that's the thing that connects a radio station to its transmitter in many cases. Other stations that it's happened to have contacted me, said the founder of WCHQ, Kathy Weisbach, and we all used the same device and none of us had set a password to the device. My bad. I had done other security measures at the tower and the studio, but failed to password protect this device. You can bet it is now. Well, if all of this sounds vaguely familiar, it probably should do, because that's happened before, back in April of last year, when hackers managed to air an adult-themed podcast on radio stations across the US, something to do with furries. Nothing on the internet is entirely free from hackers and intrusions. Keeping firmware updated is part of the game to stay one step ahead. And as more devices are connected to the internet, there's more updating that needs doing. The solar panels on my roof, my television, the speakers in my front room, my mobile phone, or the automation system that keeps your radio station working, they're all connected to the internet. Even your car. Right now, the world appears to be in an interesting state. There are lots of people who have something to prove, it seems. So it's probably worthwhile checking and double-checking your internet security. Music for this episode comes from Leo Rosevere. You can get my weekly newsletter at james.crid.land. And until next time, keep listening.